thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Deborah with Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate all the love and support. I'm really enjoying making these videos. I hope you're enjoying them as well. Obviously, you can subscribe so you get the content. I drop things daily on all things wellness, mind, body, soul healing. We do the esoteric, the spiritual, the woo-hoo, tarot readings, astrology readings, and then we focus on holistic wellness through a consciousness mindset, how to really enliven our consciousness so that we are able to maximize our potential, really live the fullness of our life. And consciousness it's not a woo-hoo concept. Sometimes people equate it to energy healing or the woo-hoo, and I mean, obviously I am a little biased to those things. I enjoy it. I really think that the study of the human physiology is mind-blowing, just the way that we are made and put together. And the more I learn about quantum physics, it is that value of what the blueprint that is within us is the blueprint that is without us as well, outside of us. So it kind of, in my opinion, it becomes really inspiring for how we can achieve wellness. We've talked a little bit about Ayurveda. I am an Ayurveda consultant. I love everything natural wellness. I've been in the food industry for 20 plus years working as a chef. I was introduced to Ayurveda. I always approached food as a healing mechanism. And then I later went back to school for Ayurvedic wellness and integrative health. It's an amazing natural wellness system. It is preventative medicine so that we don't let our body get to the stage of where disease manifests when we wind up in the doctor's office or in the hospital. No one really wants to be in that space. And there's numerous things that we can do in order to enliven our well-being so we don't find ourselves there. One of the hugest things that Ayurveda focuses on is called Agni, or our digestive fire. There is this concept that we cannot make healthy tissue out of undigested food. Undigested food becomes ama, or a loose translation to toxins, what builds up within our body. It blocks our passages, it blocks things from moving from one location to the other. We end up gaining excess weight or, having some type of disease because our body is not processing in the appropriate way. Our Agni is basically, it's related to Pitta, to fire element. It is what helps us transform whatever we ingest. This can be anything. Yes, the most common natural thing we will think of is food, obviously, because we eat 3 meals a day-ish. But it's also our environment, our surroundings, what we're listening to, what we're watching, who we surround ourselves with, etc. All of that we are ingesting. If you've ever seen that study with the plant or the rice where they play classical music and the plant grows and flourishes, and then when it is something that's a little more intense, like rock and roll, or just, not that it's like anything bad, but it ends up kind of depleting and not really allowing the plant to thrive. It's that same concept, right? Whatever we feed ourselves with, whatever we ingest, is either going to help us or hinder us. And that is where Agni becomes so important. if our digestive fire is low, it's going to take a lot of time for us to process whatever we took in, you know? So we could be starving, we could overeat, and then our body has to work extra hard in order to break everything down. And this is normally where we run into, in modern America, I would say, or first world countries, we run into a lot of issues of overconsumption, not really listening to our body when it is full, not taking enough time to eat. We definitely live in a convenience culture where you're eating as you're driving to work or your next best thing, you know, whatever you kind of have going on in your schedule. How many meals are done in the car, right? Or on the go, or it's a, you know, a Cliff Bar or something like that, you know? And I'm not saying that those things are bad and wrong, because what I love about Ayurveda is it's not shaming. It's just saying that things are better, right? There's better ways to nurture our physiology and, you know, support our body in a way that it will work for us. Our body is always going to try to find balance. It's always looking for homeostasis, right? It's always working on our behalf. We forget that, you know, especially when we get sick or something happens that we're not expecting. You know, we kind of get pissed, right, at our body. But in reality, a lot of it is about making sure that we're tuning in, right? Not ignoring the messages that it's sending through pain, through a headache, or, you know, poor digestion. Like, those are all signals that something's not right in our body, you know? If we're too bloated, or, you know, we have indigestion or acid reflux, those are all things saying like something in the body is not working properly. So obviously, like I was talking about, Agni, digestive fire, is really our most powerful tool that we have to maximize our wellness. And when I talk about maximizing wellness, it's not like, I don't look at it as like being the poster child for health, right? I actually look at it like this is about how we can maintain our youth, maintain our longevity, maintain our mind, you know, balance out our emotions, not have all this crazy chaos in our life, etc. When we have our wellness, all those things are in balance, you know. We're not going to make crazy decisions. We're not going to hurt ourselves. You know, we're going to be more mindful. We're going to be more honoring of our body, mind, and soul. And then we're therefore going to live our best life, you know. So in my opinion, wellness it's not about superficiality. It's about, like, our body is the vehicle to navigate this life. And, you know, I mean, I know for myself, like, I want to be healthy. Like, I don't want to, you know, get something in my 60s, 70s that puts me down, you know. And there's numerous things when we hit that age bracket, you know, like, our body shows signs of what we did right and not so right, you know, for those first, you know, 60 years, I guess. I mean, really, like, they say, you know, that we want to be the most mindful, especially in our 40s to 60s. You know, youth is on our side, beginning of life, 20 to 40. It's kind of why, you know, you can basically push yourself to the extreme and still wake up the next day and be fine, you know, which is really cool, right? But as you get older, you realize that's just not how it goes anymore. And so as we hit that middle age, we really want to make sure that we have some type of wellness practice, some type of protocols in place, or else those bad habits and patterns that we might have set up in our youth are going to be, you know, kind of our demise later on. So, like I said, you know, if we think about it in a more holistic, abstract, bird's eye perspective way, that everything can be helpful or hindering. then we're going to start making choices that are a little bit more in alignment with ourselves. One thing I like to do when I'm feeling motivated is, kind of take myself through the process. Like, if I want to eat something that I know might mess with my body a little bit, I'm like, because it tastes good and it's like so satisfying, etc. But I know consciously it's going to mess with me, right? So I try to sit there and say, okay, like eat through it in my mind, I can like sense the deliciousness, but then I also take myself through that process of what it feels like after the fact. It's a really good way to kind of like detour the temptation, not saying it's foolproof. I should say too, like, Ayurveda believes that sometimes we need that, right? Everything is about checks and balances. We need to remember that we live in modern culture. Things are so busy. We have so much going on nowadays. And we have to make sure that like we're being cognizant of that, being mindful of what our schedule is. Maybe there are some nights that we have to eat out or eat in the car or whatever, but the goal is to try to make the healthiest decisions when we're in those situations, right? Like, I still like go out to eat and like not go out to, but like I'll do convenience foods. Like every once in a while I have a little bud and he, of course, young people, they love like the nostalgia. And so, there's a couple places that we'll go to, but I make sure that they're high quality, that the restaurants are cooking it from scratch, that it's good quality ingredients. In my home, we eat predominantly organic, all across the board. I make everything from scratch. So I try to do stuff that mirrors that, because again, that is going to support my digestion. It's going to support my body, and it's actually going to help me, like help my physiology so it doesn't back up, so things don't get stuck and lodged in certain places. And the simplest ways we can help restore our digestive fire is, through herbs and spices. So things like ginger, black pepper, cayenne, long pepper, things that are kind of heating to us internally are actually going to stimulate that fire. It's that concept of like attracts like. So if everything is moving very slow, you're going to want something that's a little heating, that's going to actually start kind of like getting your juices flowing, right? If you are finding your digestion is irregular all over the place, you want something that's a little bit more grounding, like some sweet potatoes or healthy grains, rice, quinoa, farro, barley, things like that. Wheat is not bad. Wheat in our agricultural system, unfortunately, has been pretty like bastardized. So, if you can do like, if you have to have bread, always doing the sourdough is the best option because it's fermented and that will actually help your gut bacteria. So, I think some of it, well, it's just like anything, right? Unfortunately, we live in a modern society where things are commodities and it's about business and making money. And, especially if you're living in America, which is fine. It's life, we just have to navigate it, right? So part of it is educating yourself, knowing what works for your body, knowing what your body wants and needs and what it's asking for, and then doing the best you can to really implement the wellness, like cooking as much from home as possible, knowing what spices kind of help, you know, your overall well-being, and what things don't work for you. If you don't like the taste or smell of something, it means your body doesn't want it. You know, like that's actually like the easiest thing you can do is like the smell test. You know, if you're attracted to it, then it's gonna be good, positive, enlivening for your body. But if you're like repelled from it, then don't try it. Don't force yourself, you know, because just as you feel that resistance, so is there going to be that resistance in your body. So I hope this video helped. Just a couple key things to keep our body, our Agni enlivened, you know, different ways to think about how we can navigate wellness. That's not just, you know, exercise or food related to salads. Salads aren't bad. They just are very light, you know, so we want to make sure that when we are eating a salad or something like that, that we have, again, like a grounding vegetable with it as well, whether that's grains or, you know, potatoes or just something, you know, root vegetable, parsnips, carrots, you know, celery root, things that grow under the ground are going to be very grounding. It's a good way to think of it. So anywho, I'll be quiet now. I appreciate your time and energy. If you enjoyed the video, definitely do a thumbs up, share, subscribe. I drop content daily. I hope you're enjoying the videos. I would love to hear feedback and comments and all that jazz. If you're interested in personal services, definitely check out what I offer in the description box below. Otherwise, I hope to see you soon. Thank you always for your time and energy. Sending so much love and blessings always. I hope you have a beautiful day.